Hello everyone, and thank you for connecting with me on Transform 2020. My name is Enoch Oye, and I would want us to have a conversation on reimagining student discipline in our schools and our classrooms. Our students have been home for some couple of months because of the pandemic, and as we prepare to receive them back physically into our schools, it is important that as educators we consider and take another look at how we have treated the issue of discipline among our students before now. Our idea of discipline in a lot of our schools have been limited to a set of rules and regulations that students are supposed to follow, going on with consequences, documents when they do not abide by the rules and regulations. In a lot more cases in our schools, the focus is just on what the students shouldn't do and what will be done if the students did contrary to what the rule says. It's been very narrow in focus and very punitive. When students hear of disciplinary committee, the first thing that comes to mind is that teacher who is always going to punish you when you do the wrong. And so our students have also a punitive perception of the term discipline. In so many of our schools, the issue of student discipline has been left to a few, in quotes, strict teachers who would form a body, and all the time, if there are disciplinary issues, they are the ones that deals with it, and they are the ones that met out punishment to offenders. And so there is no buy-in from every staff member or every member of the school community when it comes to dealing with the issue of student discipline. It is hardly restorative also, because after the punishment, that is where we end it. When the student does the punishment for the offense done, we end the story over there. And in so many cases, it usually doesn't mean the student will not go back and repeat the offense or will not even commit a similar one in the near future. It so much happens that from one punishment to the other, the students keep doing the same offenses in a lot more cases. And I think as educators, as we prepare to meet the students again physically, there is a need for us to rethink and see what we can do differently when we meet these students. I believe strongly that if we focus our attention on just the rules and what the students should not do, we usually would miss out on the greatest opportunity that we have as educators, both in and outside of the classroom, to teach the value of care to our students. Our students are human, and it is important that we are deliberate about teaching them on how to behave rightly and not expect them to do so by virtue of the fact that there are rules and regulations that they are supposed to follow. In a lot more cases, we tell students what they should not do, but who is telling them what they should do? If they do not understand a topic in mathematics or in physics or in chemistry, we take our time to teach them until they get it. Why can't we do same when we want them to behave in a certain way? Why don't we treat discipline in that regard also? That if we really want our students to behave in a certain direction that we deem positive, then we should be deliberate in teaching them how they should behave and not merely expect them to do so because they have to do so. They need to learn that, and we should be ready to teach them how to behave. In teaching students how to behave, we're looking at it from two approaches. The first one is within the small space of a classroom where they first meet you as a teacher, their first point of call. When you as an educator have a set of students to work with for 1 year or for a term or for 2 years or for 3 years, it is important that you see yourself as a capable adult within that space, leading the students, and that you have what it takes to be able to impact even the way they behave. You as an educator have that inner authority that you need to build. Establish that in the classroom. your tone, your posture, your body language, and how you communicate should convince the students that indeed you have the capacity to provide structure to their life within the walls of the classroom. When students begin to realize that they know that there is an authority in that room, and that authority is ready to provide that support and that concern and care for them. Because we want to look at providing a space that is conducive for students to learn and learn conveniently, we want to be deliberate and intentional about establishing agreed expectations with the students while in that space. And so they know that when we are in class, this is what is expected of us, this is what we have to do. And it's always better when these expectations are agreed. They are a set of rules that have been drawn out of deliberations and discussions involving not just you, the teacher, but the students alike, so that they all understand the reason and the rationale why this is how they ought to behave when in the classroom or when in your space. If that is going to happen in every classroom that they go to during the day, during the week, during the term, chances are that they will be able to conform themselves to the agreed expectations set out by members of the class, including they themselves, and they hold themselves accountable to living according to the standard that they have set for themselves. In setting these expectations and rules, it is important that we are clear and we are consistent with the rules. Whatever we expect from them throughout the term, throughout the academic year, must be clear and re-echoed weekly, daily when we interact with them. And they should know we hold that expectations throughout. A lot of times we can set the rules brilliantly with them, but halfway through the term, after a term, we let loose, we forget about them. And when the students know that the teachers are not following through or have relaxed the rules, it becomes an opportunity for them to go back and start to misbehave even within the classroom. And so, as educators, we should be ready to have those expectations agreed with them and also be clear and consistent and give them constant reminders that this is what we have held ourselves accountable to, and throughout the week, throughout the term, we would be expecting that every member of the class community is adhering to the rules. Another thing that we can also do is to have effective routines. If you are meeting with them for an hour, there should be some set of routines that they will do as part of their meeting with you, so that we do not leave gaps that will trigger misbehavior in the classroom. So there should be routines that detail how they enter the class, how they sit, how they exit the class, when they are writing, when they are doing independent work, when they are doing group work. There should be effective routines developed with the students so that at every point in time, their behavior in the classroom is as a result of what routines we have set out with them. If we do that effectively, we will minimize the gaps that are likely to trigger misbehavior in the classroom. It is very important that teachers understand their role in the classroom, because a lot of the behavioral challenges that happen in the school usually show signs or symptoms even within the classroom. And so if teachers get it right, it becomes easy when the whole school are coming together to really also attend to the issue of student discipline. As school leaders, we do not end the fight on student discipline just in the classroom. There should be deliberate whole school approaches in ensuring that we are teaching students how to behave. Several schools have different models that they use. You can try the global citizenship approach, where schools have specific slots on the timetable, weekly or daily, where across the school a particular behavioral challenge is being addressed. It could be bullying, and for every classroom within the day in the school, every teacher or every staff member is addressing this particular challenge of, say, bullying with the students. And usually this is not left to just the classroom practitioners alone. It is something that every member of the school community is involved, from the teaching to the non-teaching staff, so that the students understand that trying to teach students how to behave is not just a song that is sung by a few teachers, but it is something that every member of the community accepts and is ready to teach and help the students to develop. And so we need to design a curriculum of care that teaches students. We have other schools that also uses the advisor-advisee approach, where you have some students assigned to an advisee on campus, and at a specific time slot during the week, these students meet with their advisor and they teach them, they support them. There's a behavioral pattern that is being observed. That is the time that they are being taught, they are being walked through, where the students have questions, where they have clarifications needed. That is the time where that either adult figure on campus who is assigned to them talk to them about it and is walking them through so that they can learn how to behave appropriately. Educators, the COVID-19 pandemic has thrown a lot of our students and even we the adults into a very uncomfortable situation. The students have been home for so long a time, and if there is a time that we want to communicate that we really care to the students, this is the time. They've been exposed to technology unending, and a lot of time they've been exposed to so many adverse things by virtue of technology and by virtue of the fact that they've been home and away from the school system for a long time. As educators, we need to show our students that yes, indeed we care for them and we are responsible for helping them to navigate the time even beyond this pandemic safe and soundly without any behavioral challenges. And we all should feel responsible to show and support our students. Otherwise, if we leave them to chance, I tell you, the misbehavior issues that will come would be enormous and we may not be able to handle it. We also don't want to create a school system where it is only punitive and we are not showing a lot of concern to our students from what they have been through. And so this is a time that we need to all get involved, help our students. Let's build a good relationship with our students when they are back physically with us. It is always said that people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. When our students begin to feel that indeed we have adults and educators in the school that care about them, they will be ready to listen to us. When they know we are shifting from just being punitive and always just putting them aside because of their behavior, but rather we are opening our arms to them, they will be willing to speak to us. They will be willing to share with us what struggles they go through or what they have been through, and then we will be in a better position to support them and help them to translate all the misbehavior challenges that they may have into being good members of the community who will behave appropriately. When our students are behaving appropriately, it means that the school environment is one that is full of care for each other, and they will be in a better frame of mind to even attend to their studies even beyond this pandemic. This is a clarion call on all of us as educators to really once again relook at our disciplinary approaches in our school to one that is more restorative, one that is underpinned by the value of care and the value of concern for our students to excel and to behave appropriately, not just for the school community, but also as we prepare them to lead in the future. Thank you very much. It's been a good time with you. Hope we would have several opportunities to connect and learn more about how we can support our students even beyond this pandemic. Thank you very much.